This week isn't just big, it's game-changing. General Hospital.
Port Charles had always been a city of secrets, but on this particular day, the air felt heavier, sharper, as if every corner held a threat waiting to strike. For Britt Westbourne, that feeling wasn't just intuition, it was reality. A storm closing in. Britt stood by the window of her room above Bobby's, her fingers lightly brushing the edge of the curtain as she peeked outside. The street looked normal. People walked, cars passed, life went on. But nothing about her life was normal anymore. Her heart pounded, not from fear alone, but from urgency. She was so close to getting out, so close to freedom. She thought about Jason Morgan, the plan they had built together, the risks they had taken. They had nearly escaped Port Charles, nearly broken free from the web of danger that had tightened around them. Nearly. But nearly wasn't enough. Not when men like Sidwell were involved. Not when someone like Ross Cullum was still breathing. Britt exhaled slowly, steadying herself. She reached into her bag and touched the small vial of medication. Her lifeline. Her leverage. If Britt could reverse engineer it, she'd finally be free of the control others had over her. But that future depended on one thing: surviving today. Eyes in the shadows. Across the street, unnoticed by most, Rocco Falconeri lingered. He wasn't supposed to be there, but curiosity and concern had drawn him in. He had seen Britt before. He knew something was off. Kids often noticed what adults ignored, and Rocco felt it deep in his gut. Something bad was about to happen. He watched as Britt stepped away from the window, and for a brief moment, their eyes almost met. But she turned away, and the moment was gone. Trouble at the door. Inside the room, Britt froze. A sound. Soft, but unmistakable. The door. Someone was there. Her instincts screamed at her to run, but there was nowhere to go. The handle turned, and before she could react, the door swung open. But it wasn't who she feared. It was Nathan West. A brother's instinct. Nathan stepped inside quickly, shutting the door behind him. His expression was tight, alert. "Britt," he said, his voice low but urgent, "we have a problem." She let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. That's becoming a theme. Nathan didn't smile. Instead, he moved further into the room, and that's when he noticed something else. Drawers slightly open. Items out of place. Someone had been here, and he already knew who. The intruder. Brennan, Nathan muttered. Moments later, the man himself stepped out from the adjoining space like he had been waiting for this exact moment. Jack Brennan adjusted his jacket, completely unfazed. "I was just leaving," Brennan said coolly. Nathan stepped forward, blocking his path. "Not before you explain why you're going through my sister's things." Brennan's lips curved into a faint smile. "You know how it is. National security. Questions need answers." "Not like this," Nathan shot back. The tension in the room thickened. Britt watched silently, her mind racing. What had Brennan found? Or worse, what had he not found yet? A line drawn. Nathan didn't move. And he wasn't going to. "You're done here," he said firmly. Brennan studied him, weighing his options. For a moment, it seemed like things might escalate. But then, Brennan stepped back. "Another time," he said. And just like that, he walked out. But the threat didn't leave with him. It lingered. The net tightens. Once the door closed, Britt turned to Nathan. "He's getting closer." Nathan nodded. "And so is the WSB." Her stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" "There's a warrant out for Jason." Everything inside her went cold. Jason's dilemma. At the PCPD, Jason Morgan stood in the interrogation room. Silent. Focused. He had faced worse. But this was different. Because this time, it wasn't just about him. It was about Britt. And every second he was stuck here was a second she was exposed. He clenched his jaw. He needed to get out. Fast. Power and pressure. Meanwhile, across town, Laura Collins sat behind her desk. The weight of her position had never felt heavier. And then, the door opened. Sidwell walked in. Uninvited. Unapologetic. "I trust you've been cooperative," he said smoothly. Laura's eyes hardened. "I've done what I had to." "But not everything," Sidwell replied. He stepped closer. And just like that, the pressure intensified. A moral line. "You're asking too much," Laura said. Sidwell tilted his head. "Am I?" "Yes." But even as she said it, she knew the truth. He wasn't asking. He was demanding. And he had leverage. He always did. A dangerous game. Sidwell leaned in slightly. "There's another matter that requires your attention." Laura's stomach tightened. Of course there was. There was always another demand. Another compromise. Another piece of her integrity chipped away. "I won't keep doing this," she said. Sidwell smiled faintly. "You already are." Family matters. At the Quartermain mansion, Tracy Quartermain sat across from Brooke Lynn Quartermain. The conversation was quieter, but no less intense. "A baby changes everything," Tracy said. Brooke Lynn nodded slowly. "I know. But knowing and understanding were two different things." "This isn't just a decision," Tracy continued. "It's a lifetime." Brooke Lynn looked down. At the thought of Phoebe, at the future she was about to step into. And for the first time, doubt crept in. Truth and acceptance. Elsewhere, Lucas Jones sat with Carly Spencer. The air between them was calmer than usual. Less defensive. More honest. "You were right," Lucas admitted. Carly didn't gloat. Didn't push. She just nodded. "I wasn't trying to hurt you," she said. "I know." Lucas exhaled. "I just didn't want to see it." But now he did. Mostly. Love complicated. "Marco," Lucas began. Carly raised an eyebrow. "You still love him?" It wasn't a question. Lucas nodded. "I do." Carly sighed softly. "Then just be sure you know what you're signing up for." Because in Port Charles, love was never simple. Back to Britt. Night was falling, and danger was rising. Back in her room, Britt packed what little she could carry. Every sound made her flinch. Every shadow felt alive. Nathan stood by the door, guarding, watching, waiting. "We'll get you out," he said. Britt looked at him. Her brother, her protector, her ally. "I hope so," she whispered. The final threat. Outside. A car pulled up. Inside. A figure watched. And somewhere in the darkness, plans were already in motion. Britt wasn't just in danger. She was the target. To be continued. In Port Charles, no one escaped the storm forever. Not Britt. Not Nathan. Not Laura. Because when power, secrets, and survival collide, someone always pays the price. The night deepened, and with it came a chilling stillness that felt anything but safe. Inside her room, Britt Westbourne paused mid-step, her instincts flaring again. Something wasn't right. Outside, shadows shifted. A door slammed somewhere down the hall. Nathan's grip tightened near his holster as Nathan West exchanged a quick glance with her. No words were needed. They both felt it. Meanwhile, at City Hall, Laura Collins stared at the phone in her hand. knowing one call could change everything, for better or worse. And across town, Jason Morgan made a silent vow. No matter the cost, he was getting back to Britt before it was too late.